Hello all my lovely jewelry makers, I'm Christina of CSLdesigns and today it's time to open up another dollar bead box and bag. So let's get right into it. So let's break through the tape first of all. And get all the things out of here. Curious what's going to be in this one. So we have the bag first of all. And like usual, I'm just going to have a little look at that one first. So we have the note as well. And all the strands, so the 4 3mm strands and the 4 4mm strands. So just to separate them out, I'm going to get the 4mm separate from the 3mm. Now this looks kind of interesting, a bit of a different mix. I'm getting certain impressions from this. And then let's just also zoom in here so you can kind of see them a bit more up close as we're going to be going through them. And then starting with the 3mm ones. First of all, we have matte sun orange. Obviously it's got to be this one. It's definitely a nice bright orange, so definitely a sun orange, I would say. That word or name fits nicely, and they are matte, so have that kind of different finish, which I really do like. So they are quite nice, very bright, perfect for summer. Then teal is going to be this one. Again, they're all faceted as well, so we have that lovely sparkle where you just move it in the light. A nice kind of, by itself, a bit delicate blue, but then putting it with the orange, it kind of becomes a bit brighter, I think, and it goes quite nicely with it. Then we have evergreen, which is this one. A nice kind of basic green, not too dark and not too light, a nice just kind of medium one. Again, these were kind of the ones, apart from maybe the bright blue there or anything, that jumped out at me first. These three together, for some reason I think they kind of go really well together, and there's something really summery about them, but in a different way. So I definitely think these three could work really well in something together. A bit unusual colours to put together, but they really do work, I think. Then of the 3mm strands we have left, we got opaque light green, half silver coated. So that means the base colour is that opaque light green. You can kind of get a glimpse of that. And then it's half coated, partly coated with silver, which obviously adds a really lovely sparkle. You can see that on top of being faceted, that silver coating just really makes it pop when you move it. So that is really quite beautiful. I love these half coated beads. I've not seen that before until I started getting these boxes and bags. I really do like them half coated ones though. There's just something really different and special about them. Then we have the 4mm strands. Push them down a bit. Crystal half copper. So again, one that's half coated. A crystal base colour, if you can call it that, in the bead. That's then half coated in copper, which is again really beautiful. Just add something really special. Now, if I'm not mistaken, last month in the previous box there were these exact beads, but in 3mm. I'm pretty sure. So got that. These would actually go with that, and they obviously match perfectly together. Then there's matte cobalt blue. It's got to be this one. Very bright. Even though it's matte at first, I didn't actually think it was matte, but I can see that now. But still very bright. Normally matte makes it a bit more dim, which maybe it is compared to not being matte, but it's still very bright. I love these kinds of bright colours. Then we have topaz, which is the next one in line here. Very earthy, I find. Kind of a clear topaz rather than a very opaque colour. Then we have matte opaque light green, and that's this one. So a little bit like this one, the background colour or the base bead colour, the light green, but then that's half coated. Obviously this one isn't, that's just the base colour, which actually means that these two could work nicely together in something, and then the smaller ones have that half coating, which really makes them pop next to the larger beads here. So that is quite interesting, a nice combination. My main ones, like I said, half coated ones I really like. So these ones I really like. I would definitely want to try and use. I always like bright colours, especially bright blues like this. And then these three, for some reason, I think go really well together. So these are my standout pieces from here. So those are the strands from the bag first of all. Moving straight onto the box because I'm curious what's going to be in this month's. So first of all, get the paperwork out. little kind of intro, and then obviously the list of everything that's in there. Get the box out of the way, and then just going to dump it all out like usual. Just get rid of this noisy tissue paper. And then first impressions, that's looking interesting. Right, I'm just going to separate the bags out from the strands like I normally do, just to kind of get a bit of an overview here and go through them one at a time. A little bit organized, as much as I can be. Right, so these are all the strands in the bag. So I'm just going to lay them ready first, and then get my paper out as well. And then, because also the strands are always separate on the paper, so it makes it a little bit easier to actually go through it in an organized way. So here we are. Right, so let's start from the top. And very first we have 5mm beads. It's not many 5mm beads that I have ever really seen. It's not a size you normally get that much. These are Czech fire polish crystal tangerine, so it's got to be this color here, because you have the crystal base bead, you could say, and then the tangerine is kind of blended, melded into it a bit organically. It's quite interesting. That it's very different. And even though, because the tangerine is quite bright, but obviously because it's not a full coating or anything, it's mixed with that crystal. It kind of mutes it a little bit in a nice and interesting way at the same time. But that's the first one. Then we have 6mm beads. Now these ones are amethyst, and the Czech Glass Druck ones, so nice and perfectly round. Forgot to say, by the way, these ones, the first ones are faceted, so also sparkle nicely. Then we have the amethyst ones, which is that purpley colour. Kind of quite nice and delicate. And 6mm is one of my go-to sizes. Can always use that. Then we have some 6mm coral, which has got to be these. That is definitely, has a pearl finish. You can definitely see that. Quite different. I think it shows up a little bit different on camera. So it kind of has that coral base colour, but then it's coated in pearl. A pearl finish, which gives it a very different look. Definitely looks a bit different in real life than on camera. It's very interesting. Then we have 4mm ones, which are smaller, and they are mint tea colour. So these ones, again, a pearl finish, a very bright, minty, tealy colour. Kind of just makes you think a bit of ocean and things like that. 4mm ones, nice size as well. Then again we have 5mm ones, but these ones are some more kind of spacer beads, silver ones, and it's a flower spacer. So they're kind of stacked up like this, but it's when you see them from the other end, if I can kind of get it to focus on that, it's got that flower shape. So again, interesting things can be done with that. So, and it's very silvery, obviously. Very bright silver, so that's nice. The last ones are the strands. Some 3x4mm rondelles, Chinese crystal ones. These are some of the ones that I noticed at first when I opened up the box, just purely because of the sparkle, because these are sparkly. It comes across on the camera, but even more in real life, to be honest. The turquoise, so the base colour, and then it's a rainbow luster on top, and it's just definitely rainbow. There's a lot of colours going on in that sparkle. I always love a good sparkle. Can never have too much sparkle. But anyway, also, by the way, pretty long strand. So, says 100 pieces. There's definitely quite a few here, so you can use that for quite a bit of jewellery, I would think. So those are the strands. Now, just put them out of the way. And then moving on to all the additional items there in the bags. Kind of see what we have this time. So first up, the additional items, we have some pewter drops, and there's 2 pieces of them, so I'm guessing it's got to be these ones here. The 8x60mm antique brass, so that's the metal finish. Now I did see something similar. It was either last time or time before that, a fairly recent box. They had these, but they were antique silver, I'm pretty sure, if I don't remember wrong. And they have this, get it focused, kind of nice design effect on that lower part, and obviously the antique as well really makes that stand out. Now it's just one-sided, but then drops that can be used for many different things. I made some macrame earrings with these ones, actually, the last ones that I had. So it doesn't have to be just for a charm or some kind of finding. But anyway, next we have Czech Glass pillow. So that's 2 pieces turquoise. Let me try and see. Would that be these ones I'm thinking? 12 by 14 millimeter. Yeah, it's got to be these. So Czech Glass. And there we go. We have the hole right there. So they're a bit kind of wonky pillows, I guess you could say. It's not completely square or rectangle. It's kind of has a little bit of a twist to it. And then the hole is on one of the longer sides. Quite a small hole, I will say. So you can't get really thick wire or cord through there, but obviously you can get something through. They feel pretty nice. A nice finish on them. Nice delicate colour as well. And then we have Czech Glass Druck Jet, 24 pieces. So 5mm, I'm guessing that's got to be these beads here. Just some rounds, and there's about 24. Just kind of get a couple out so they're not going to roll all over the place. So basically just some black round beads with some what looks fairly decent sized holes. And they're 5mm, which is a bit of an unusual size. There's actually a few things in here with 5mm rounds. So it's not often I've seen that size. But then after that we have ear wires. So I did see them. They're up here. So fish hook ear wires, silver plated, 3 pairs. So that means there should be 6 15mm ones. Again, I like that you get some findings in that in this box as well, just because that way sometimes you can make full pieces of jewelry without actually needing to have anything already. So those are some ear hooks. Then we have Czech Glass leaf travertine with copper flash. Now I did notice these before when I was kind of putting the bags away. It's got to be these ones here, and they did quite catch my eye. Now I did like the look of them, so now obviously I'm going to have a closer look. About 6 pieces, 8 by 12mm. Let me just pour a few out so I can have a closer look as well, because they definitely looked quite interesting. So travertine is the base colour. Let's get them up here. And then they have a copper wash, which means where it's kind of been carved into it, there's a copper inlay in there, which then really makes that carving stand out. And they are double-sided. And I get it. That's where the hole, I was thinking there's got to be a hole somewhere. It's actually, I was thinking it maybe went from point to point, but I couldn't really see one. That's because it doesn't, it goes, it's almost a bit like a drop. It's on one of the ends. There's the hole, so the hole in this one is up there. So basically kind of at the bottom of the leaf, which kind of makes sense really, doesn't it? But they're pretty cute. I like the copper on them. Makes the shape stand out. So next we have dyed agate cross collar berries, and there's one of them. So I did see this before. I didn't realize it was agate though. And now I can have a closer look. 15 by 16mm approximately. This is pretty cute, I think. I thought it was actually just because it was just like a brief look I had. I thought it was just a one colour blue all over, but I can see now, yes, this is basically agate, how agate would naturally be. Banded agate. Nice variation of blue tones. And you got a hole going down through there. Well, that's pretty cute. Nice colours and stuff. An unusual shape, especially for a gemstone bead as well. Next we have, let me see if it's still in frame. We have oval carnelian pendant. Right, let's see. I think that's got to be this one. One piece, seems like carnelian to me. 18 by 14mm. So this seems a bit unusual because it appears to be just an oval shape, like it says, oval carnelian pendant. But pendant usually means there's something attached to it that you can just use to put a cord or chain through so it's ready to wear. But this one, first I thought, where's the hole? And I was like, I don't see a hole. It actually appears like there's a hole through. Let me see. Don't know if I'm going to be able to catch that. It starts right there and then kind of goes through the bead at an angle, comes out on the other side, and then comes out right there. And catch the hole a little bit right there. So kind of comes through the bead at an angle, but on the flat side and sideways like that. So that is very unusual. I've not seen that before. That's definitely different. Nice bead though. Nice and natural looking. Next we have Freshwater stick pearl. Stick pearl. Ah, that's got to be these. I was thinking stick pearl. Is it a pearl on a stick? 2 pieces. So yeah, it's probably referring to the shape of them. We have 2 pearls here that are stick shaped. Kind of natural, elongated shape. Very natural and organic, that's for sure. Now, yes, they do have holes. Like usual, like most pearls, you'll find quite small holes. So limit it what you can get through. See if I can get it to focus. Quite small holes there. So from one end to the other. Next on the list, let me seal that properly. That was the stick pearls. Then we have Baroque pearl. Baroque pearl, 1 piece. This is the only remaining pearl that I see. But this seems pretty round to me. Baroque pearl, I'm pretty sure, usually means that it's not round, it's more natural shaped. 10 by 12 millimeter. There's a slight, not 100% round shape to it, but it's very round compared to what I would normally say Baroque pearls are. Again though, hole is quite small, so you can only find things through there. But that is a very round one for a Baroque pearl, but pretty nice size, quite large. Another pearl there. Then we have antique brass rectangle. This has got to be it. So antique brass one, which was like, I think the first drops. Yeah. So just like a little rectangle. I guess could be used for different things. You could either use it as like a frame maybe, and wire something into it, or all sorts of things I guess you could use for it. Or you'll make macrame from it. Oh, I'm even thinking whether, I don't think there's a hole anywhere. No, doesn't look like it. My first thought is kind of to maybe possibly somehow use it as a belt buckle. For some reason that's just what is screaming out at me. If you could do that in some way. It's always something to maybe play around with. So a little rectangle, kind of a frame, I would say. Maybe even use clay or resin with it or something like that. Then we have floral bead cap. Bead cap, it's got to be these ones, 2 pieces. Yeah, I didn't actually realize they were bead caps. They look interesting, quite different. Just get one out here. So a bead cap, you can see it kind of sits really nice on my finger because it has the shape like bead caps do. So basically this seems like it would fit quite a large bead, but that would also make sense with the design because it's definitely quite a standout design that you notice. So you would obviously notice it more using it for something bigger. Again, that's silver, antique silver ones. And that was floral bead cap. Then we have, let me just move down a little bit, almost at the end, oval link chain. So we actually get some chain in this one. 1 foot, which I have no idea what that is. It's this long. Yeah, I don't really working feet. So that's what the chain looks like. You can see quite open oval links. Almost a bit that could easily be used to make it into extended chain. So cut it into shorter little lengths and then use it as extended chain. Definitely would work for that. Almost a bit industrial feel to it because of the shape of the links, I think. So some chain. Then Pewter Banjo. These ones, 2 pieces. Also had some of these in a previous box, but again I'm pretty sure they were antique silver, where these are antique brass. It was either banjos or something very similar to it. So again, these are basically charms that you can use. You've got a loop there at the top and then a banjo shape in a nice antique brass finish. Get them back in. And then we just have one left. So only one bag, I'm just going to bring them in. These are actually Swarovski, I didn't realise. 8mm Swarovski, what looks to be bicones, Indian Sapphire AB, so that's the colour. Always love me a good AB coating, especially on Swarovski. Yeah, AB coating and I'm sold. 2 pieces, so quite large, obviously 8mm, and then nice bicones. They're definitely very sparkly. It's quite an unusual colour, Indian Sapphire. I've never seen that in real life. Out of the Swarovski I've had, I've not had this colour before. That's definitely quite nice. Very delicate, but at the same time very elegant and very... I'm not even sure what words to use, but very different. So that's nice, and you get some Swarovski in it again, and you get some pearls and some gemstone things and findings as usual. So definitely a nice mix, I would say. So now that time has come where it's time for me to go away, play around with these materials here, and then try and come up with some designs. So if you want to see what I end up making and the materials that I end up using, then make sure to stick around. So now to show you the couple of things that I made from this bag and box. The first strands that I picked out were these small strands, with the small beads rather, from the bag. So it's these 3 colours that I also put together. I thought for some reason went really well together, and it just kind of screamed summer to me. And I ended up using them 3 together as well. So what I ended up making was, because I've been on a bit of a wire crochet theme, or whatever you want to call it, for a little while since I started, I ended up continuing with that. So I made some wire crochet pieces because I also kind of want to keep practice with it, obviously, and hopefully get better and better. So I ended up using the beads to basically make little flowers. So first of all, 2 pieces I made, and they match obviously, but first I made the bracelet. So I just crocheted the whole bracelet first of all, wire crochet obviously, also made a clasp from wire, and then I attached the flowers there in all the 3 colours, and I do think it's ended up actually being really summery, the bracelet itself. And I really quite like the effect. I've definitely completely fallen for wire crochet. I am definitely hooked. And then I just thought, why not obviously make a ring to match. And that just then has 1 flower. I did think I could have added 1 of each colour, and I think it would have worked size-wise as well, but I kind of thought I'd keep it simple for now and just add just 1 of the colours. And again, then a matching set. So those were the first pieces that I made. And then next I picked out some strands from the box. And I picked these 3 strands. So what I normally do is I take kind of the things that jump out at me the most. I pick them out and I kind of sit with them a bit and see what I can come up with and what I want to use them for. And as I did that, I kind of started realising I thought these 3 actually went quite well together in some weird way. I wouldn't have thought that initially, but because they ended up laying together randomly, I thought that actually looks pretty nice. So I wanted to think if I could make anything using all these 3 together. So I ended up doing a micro-macrame bracelet that looks like this, which was actually quite nice because I've not done micro-macrame in a while, so I kind of missed that a bit. So as you can see, I used the purple and that clear and orange bead, some strands down the center, and then I used the rondelles along the outer edges basically. And then I kind of did a little bit of a new effect there that I haven't done before in between the beads in the middle. I think that's pretty cool as well. And I actually really like this colour combination, and then with that grey cord, I think it works really well, surprisingly. I never would have put them together myself. It was just kind of pure random that they ended up together, and I thought it looked pretty nice. So that's the bracelet that I ended up with from those beads. So these were then a few pieces I ended up making this time around. So obviously the wire crochet and also the macrame, it does take quite a bit of time to make, so hence why I kind of only make these couple of pieces. But I really hope you liked them, and I hope you enjoyed this video here. Thank you so much for watching it, and I'll see you in the next one.